Hey everyone, hope you are doing well. Today I'm going to teach you how to multiply matrices. Now, if you're talking about an individual matrix, you'd call it a matrix, but if you're talking about multiple, you'll call it matrices, or you'd call them matrices. So we have matrix A and matrix B, and I have written out a lot of the working because I want to make sure I get every detail correct, because you can't, generally you can't just multiply a matrix by a matrix, at least in this way. It has to be, a certain size. So I want to explain that. And yeah, I want to explain how you actually do that process. So some of the work in here might be a bit small, but I will explain it as I go. And hopefully I've got, as much as possible on the camera and zoomed in enough. But if you do have comments or questions, or if you feel like there's anything I missed, or if you want more explanation, you can leave a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you there. So starting with multiplying these two matrices, we have matrix A and matrix B. Now I've labeled the dimensions because they're important for this question. So we have a 2 by 3 matrix for matrix A. That's because we have 2 rows and we have 3 columns. So this is a 2 by 3 matrix here. Matrix B is 3 rows by 2 columns, so it's a 3 by 2 matrix. So why have I pointed this out? So we're going to multiply A times B, which is an important differentiation because we wouldn't be able to do it this way with B times A, because when you're multiplying matrices like this, now there might be other ways to do it or more complex ways to times them, but when you're generally multiplying them like this, these have to be the same. So the number of columns in the first matrix you're multiplying has to equal the number of rows of the second matrix. And your final matrix, I've written that here, will be these dimensions. So in this case, it will be a 2 by 2 matrix. So the final matrix will be a 2 by 2 matrix. So that's good to know before you start. You can multiply these together, it's going to work, and you're going to get a 2 by 2 matrix as your final answer. So I've put A times B is equal to, and I've put quite a lot of room here for multiplying the matrices. And the way you do it, so we know we're going to have a 2 by 2, so we'll have 4 multiplications. And what you want to do is you want to look at the row and then the column. So this is position, I guess, 1, 1. It's the first row in the first column. That's I believe you call them elements of the matrix, okay? And to work that out, we're going to, I think you call it like a dot product multiplication, but you're basically taking this first row, this first column, and we're timesing the elements and then adding them. So first row, first column, we do 1 times 3 plus 0 times 2 plus 2 times 1, okay? So here we've got 1 times 3 plus 0 times 2, which is 0 times 2, plus 2 times 1. So you can imagine how it's kind of mapping onto there, timesing the pairs and then adding them together. So hopefully that part makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm going to explain it again for this part, and then we're kind of skim through these. So next we are looking at, the first row still, but the second column to make this element of the matrix. So you have the first row and the second column. So we'll do the 1 times the 1, and then we'll do the 0 times the 1, and then the 2 times the 0. And then we will do the same for these two. So this one, you have the second row and first column. So it'd be minus 1 times 3, 3 times 2, and 1 times 1. And then for the bottom right one of this matrix, so the second row and second column, second row, second column, minus 1 times 1, got it here, 3 times 1 and 1 times 0, okay? So this is probably the hardest part, and then from here, you just simplify. So you work out what these are. You could maybe do it in one go. I just times them here, and then I added them after. So, we have 3, so 1 times 3 plus 0 plus 2, this one. And then we have 1 times 1 is 1, plus 0 times 1, so 0, plus 2 times 0 is 0. Then for this one, which is our bottom left element, we have -3 plus 6 plus 1, and then we have -1 plus 3 times, or plus 0 plus 1 times 0. So now we just add them together. So 3 plus 2 is 5, 1 plus 0 plus 0 is 1, -3 plus 6 plus 1 is 4, because it's 7 minus 3. And then we basically have 3 minus 1, because that's just a 0. So our final answer is going to be this square 2 by 2 matrix, and it is 5, 1, 4, 2. And that is basically how you multiply matrices. Now, I will review like all my terminology, and in editing, you know, if I feel like anything needs more explanation, or if I think I made a slight error, I'll probably just fix that in editing. But this is still the sort of general technique. Sometimes like the terminology, I feel like it's easy to mix that up, like different words, but you know, that is how you do it. You can apply that technique. I would recommend you practice it. Sometimes when people define like rows and columns in matrices, I find it a bit like counterintuitive. So it took me some time when I first learned about this to, you know, work out how to do it. So hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully that's clear. If you do have any comments or questions, you can let me know down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you there. And if you have made it this far, I appreciate you watching the videos, because I'm trying to get my watch time up. So yeah, thank you for watching, and best of luck with all your maths.